I honestly think Busch Light Peach is better than Busch Light Apple.
I wholeheartedly disagree. It's good, but it's not quite that good.
I mean, it's close, but I don't know. I guess it's just the apple juice part. Oh, yeah, Peach. Peach in Georgia.
Start the show. Oh, yeah.
Starts on
to do that. All right, cool. You'd think 100 episodes in, I'd figure out how to do this. Welcome to the Big Moter Small Blade podcast, the 100th episode. Yes, technically it's a technicality. However way you wanna spin it. We've done at least 100 episodes, or just under, or roundabouts. My name's Buddy Pulley. That was what I was gonna say.
Yeah, and my name's Seth Dolby.
And we're still doing this for some reason.
Not very well, but we're working on it.
Did you honestly think we'd get to 100 episodes?
I thought I would kill something before then and end up in prison.
Oh my god, what? This is a whole nother development.
Well, it didn't happen, so it's irrelevant.
Okay, anyway, so Atlanta, that was the thing. We'll talk about that. I'm sure Seth and I will agree wholeheartedly about this race. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the rain-shortened race. We'll talk about William Byron, in my opinion, to that man. And then we'll talk about Busch going to Ross Chastain next on the Big Motor Small Blade podcast.
That was a mess.
That was an absolute mess. But I mean, it's fitting.
It's fitting. It's par for the course.
It is very par for the course.
Yeah. Well, okay, we shoot well under par when it comes to any course. Analogy.
I don't know, dude. I'm killing it mini golf. So before we get into like the show, let's talk about how this whole thing started, because 100 episodes, it's kind of monumental, I guess, in a sense.
Just like it.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for a century. How wild is that?
At times it's felt like it.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, and then it also hasn't. It's felt like, I mean, it just seemed like just yesterday we were sitting on the back tailgate of your truck in Darlington talking about sharing a microphone, by the way. Like,
yeah.
we thought we were prepared for this whole thing. We were not.
We actually started doing it. We were like, this isn't working how we thought it would.
No, it's not. Yeah, it was funny. We were gonna make the trip, like we were gonna record every week, and we we're gonna record together. That lasted about 2 episodes, and we haven't done it since.
Nope.
Zoom is our friend. Yeah, you remember that fucking episode 1, Darlington? You remember that fucking drunk guy that kept coming up and wanting to take the microphone?
He wanted to take the microphone, and he wanted, like, he's like, oh, the turning point in the race was when Chase Elliott missed pit road or whatever. And we were like,
he was running like 17th.
Yeah, we're like, yeah, that was the turning point. Yeah. Not when the 42 beat the 5 off the pit lane.
I love that you still remember like what happened. I have no clue. I bet if I didn't pick Denny Hamlin to win that race, there's no way in hell I would have remembered that he won the race.
Well, to be fair, I remember all the 2021 playoff races pretty well.
Of course you do. And all of that's documented on this podcast. If you care to go back and listen, please don't.
They're rough.
Yeah, but that dude gave us some good whiskey that night.
What was it? Was it?
I don't remember.
Maker's Mark or something?
No, it was not. I said good whiskey.
I don't drink whiskey at all, so I don't know what is good.
Yeah. No, dude. I mean, we've done a lot, man. I mean, that's how we met Caleb. Caleb didn't care to show up tonight, but happy birthday to him. But I mean, the safaris we went on, obviously that helped grew the whole channel. We'll get back to that one day. It's been the personal issues have contributed to the lack of safaring. Our Jeep broke down and I lost my shorts. But I mean, it's just wild that we've been doing this damn long.
Well, see, like, ultimately, it doesn't feel like it was that long, because, like, I think back to that time period, I'm like, that was not that long. Like it doesn't feel like it was.
It doesn't. But
It's coming up on 2 years since we were hanging out with David and all the other YouTubers at Indianapolis, and that's kind of when we really kind of got the ball rolling on it. Essentially, like
we got the ball rolling, but we had talked about doing this for a long time,
and like we'd done a couple episodes on my other channel.
That somewhere on that channel, you in one of those 3-hour long videos we used to do, you hear me call it the Big Motor Small Blade podcast. That was the first mention of it too.
That's in the title. It's called the Big Motor Small Blade podcast episode 2-ish is what it's called, because
episode 0.
So the first time,
Zero.
I guess if we're reminiscing, not to get too far off the beaten path here, but the first time we did it essentially was at the start of 2019, right the night before the Daytona 500. We recorded about an hour and a half video with you, me, and my brother.
I forget, dude. That was in my bedroom. That one I'm sleeping in right now.
Yeah,
because I had to move. I moved back in with my mom until my place is ready to move in. Dude, I forgot about that. I haven't changed a bit. I was just as much of a dickhead as I am.
You said it. So we're sitting there. Yeah. So I don't remember how we even got to it, but we were sitting there watching. Well, I remember why we did that one. I was like, hey guys, let's just sit here and just shoot the shit, talk NASCAR for like an hour and a half and upload this as a video. And we ended up calling it the Daytona Lition Derby. And we wound up, this was when we bitched the most. We were like, the 550 package, this is going to suck ass. And guess what?
That's
we were right.
True. Yeah.
But anyway, so we're sitting there we didn't really talk about it too much in like 2020, but 21 rolls around.
Yeah. When we definitely should have been talking about it.
We absolutely should have started doing this in 2020.
I was preoccupied. I had twins. Like I
had tons of time. I had all sorts of time. I was off work every other week. But anyway, we're sitting there watching the Daytona 24 or the Rolex 24. And I don't remember if we talked about it beforehand or we just said, hey, fuck it, let's record a video.
I think that was it. We were it was like 3 a.m. We were tired.
Yeah.
And we were just like, we're trying to stay up full 24 hours. We didn't make it. And decided.
Which is funny because I think I stayed up more than that for doing the double. So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah.
Watching a fucking sports car race.
Yeah, but it's different though. My bed was like 40 feet away, so I could just go. Go and do that.
Very true. Very true. But we wind up recording this 2-hour video. That
hilarious video.
It's very funny. That I titled Gen 7 Stole My Wife, Gone Sexual, Cops Called, Big Motor Small Blade Podcast.
I forgot
episode 2-ish. And if you listen,
that's not where I called it, Big Motor Small Blade.
I don't think you called it that, but I definitely did. And then we ended up recording. We ended up recording a Daytona road course post race too.
What the fuck? I have no recollection of that.
Yeah, that one I tend to forget about. Well, we did do that one. That one was
I just
a bit
remember
shorter.
The Rolex one. You said that was where the meme came about when you were talking about the new engine package that was supposed to be coming this year. That is coming whenever, or if it still is.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, let's talk about that. I was like, I haven't heard anything about this, but I'll write it down. And we get to the part where you're talking about it, and you're like, I go, all right, Seth, the new engine, what you got? He goes, I don't know anything, but it's gonna be pivotal. And I'm just, wow, what a comment.
So, look, my intention when I had you put that on the list was not, I have groundbreaking news about this. It was, let's talk about it.
Well, you know what I'm realizing, reminiscing, neither one of us have changed a bit.
No.
If I like want to talk about something, I'll ask you about it. You'd be like, I don't know.
Let the record reflect. Buddy still owes me $100.
I'm not paying you. You're never going to see that $100.
I mean, I know. I'm well aware of that. But, Buddy, if you want to go back and watch the video.
Go watch the Texas. What was it? The Texas?
Yeah, the Texas.
Podcast from 2021.
I called in this 2-hour video. I called Kyle Larson having 8 wins. I was wrong. He had more.
You said 8. Yeah. And
so
he had 10.
Texas, when he got to Texas and he got 8, I was like, well, shit, I'm going to be wrong probably, but I'll take it. And then I called him winning the title. Buddy said, and I quote, he's not going to light the world on fire, and I'll give you $100 if he even makes a Final Four. Again,
much less wins the championship.
Never going to see that money. But
I called Kyle Larson the biggest. I said he was going to be the biggest disappointment of 2021, and he was for the rest of the competition.
They were very disappointed.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are some fun nuggets. We did an episode right before Nashville.
Something. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. That was when I called it the Big Motor Small Blade podcast. Okay. I do remember that. I don't remember I just remember we were sitting in my loft. I remember what shirt I was wearing, and I remember me calling it that. Other than that, could not tell you. We're not telling you where to find these videos either. You're gonna have to dig through the internet to figure that one out.
That's true. If you spell motor properly, you'll find it easier.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and get into that. Why Big Motor Small Blade is spelled the way it is. It's spelled that way because when I was creating the Big Motor Small Blade Instagram, and Twitter and all the things, Seth's Instagram for his personal account was Big Motor Small Blade. He changes it, and if anybody knows Instagram, you get to keep that name in your Rolodex for the next like 30 days. So I go to create the Instagram, and it's like the week before we're gonna start. And I realized that we can't spell it properly. Like it was originally gonna be SMOL. That was the original plan the whole time.
Always.
But I had to get creative on the motor part, and I was like, well, I personally, not necessarily Seth, I sound like a country bumpkin, and I definitely pronounce motor. So I was like, all right, I'll just put that down.
Well, and so obviously
I meant to change it, but I eventually, it just never happened. Yeah. I was going to be a seamless change that I just forgot about.
Well, and so obviously we didn't come up with Big Motor Small Blade as like the
no, phrase. But we made it what it was.
Yes, but so it really became it became a part of my thing because I didn't have a driver in 2020, so I made this Big Motor Small Blade shirt. I can't remember if it said Big Motor Small Blade 2020 or just said Big Motor Small Blade. I can't really remember.
I don't remember. But it was a neon green shirt, wasn't it?
Yellow.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was neon green or not.
I wore that thing. So I only wore that thing twice. I wore that to the Bristol All-Star race, and I wore that to the Daytona Road Course, which is two races that it's weird. I'm gonna have to explain that to people years from now. Like I was at the Bristol All-Star race, and then a month later,
this podcast we're gonna start here in a year.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, then I started wearing. I bought a Jimmy Johnson shirt, and I quit wearing it. But anyway, there you go.
Pointless details. But yeah, that's
another weird thing I'm going to explain to people. Like, I was wearing a Jimmy Johnson shirt. It's weird.
Yeah. So anyway, then we go to this is when everything starts happening. This is when we go to Indianapolis, and it was born from there, really, because that's when we're in Walmart, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy a bucket hat, and I bought this tan bucket hat. And
you bought it?
Oh yeah, you bought it. I forgot about that. So Seth buys me this tan bucket hat, and I was like, it's a safari hat. Took me way too long to realize, like, okay, that's not what a safari hat is. But and I happened to be wearing these shorts that were like, they had like tigers and in the jungle and shit. And so we're walking around, bopping around Indy, and I'm just like, it's a Buddy Pulley safari. And that's where that came from. And then
clever name, right? Yeah.
Very clever. Yeah. Not my proudest moment, but became one of my proudest moments. And then we're hanging out with David Land and Black Flags Matter and the Iceberg and Eric Eastet. We're getting this private tour of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum by the curator, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's this private tour after hours. And I'm sitting there, we're just talking about, YouTube, we're talking about racing, we're talking about everything. And as we're walking back, when we get done with this, I think I said to Seth, I go, we could do this. I was like, we could, like, maybe not the YouTube, videos like they do, but we could. Obviously, they have the NASCAR Weekly podcast. We could do this. We could do a podcast. We've been talking about it forever. Let's do it. And the next couple weeks, that's pretty much all I thought about all day long was ideas for this. And yeah, Darlington 2021, we finally did the damn thing, and here we are today.
Yeah, we just showed up with we know we're gonna do this, but we're not exactly sure how this is gonna.
We spent a lot of money on equipment that weekend. I did buy some of that equipment. I know damn well I did.
I don't know if that's true.
I did because I was making good money.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember I was like, I'm gonna buy this, and you're gonna buy that, whatever. And we spent way less money than we thought we were going to spend.
Yeah, way less. Yeah. We went into that. We had done the bare minimum.
We're spending $2,000.
Yeah, we were prepared to drop a fucking load of money, and
we're like, oh, let's get this karaoke mic for $8.
We walked out. We'd spent $50. We were like, oh, okay, we're good.
Yeah. Shout out to Ryan Mosley. He drove us around that day. Anyway. That's enough of that. We're 100 episodes deep, and never hated Seth more in my life.
I've never hated Buddy more. Well, okay, you're about to hate me more.
I mean, no, I know what you're gonna say about this whole thing, and
see, I don't think you do.
Oh, maybe I don't. I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
I always know with you, and I also never know with you.
That's fair.
Over 100 episodes. I do want to thank everybody for that's listened, that's mentioned it, that's it had anything to do with this. Even if you left us a 1 star, these guys suck rating, thank you, because I mean that is the embodiment of our motto: listen or don't. We appreciate that. We appreciate hopefully all the new listeners from down under. We had our most watched podcast. Is it the most watched video? No, it's not the most watched video on YouTube.
Sam Mayer's still the most watched video.
Uncle Sam. But yeah, our most watched podcast last week was the obviously the Chicago show, and there was an overwhelming
positive response
from a lot of people down under Australia and New Zealand, obviously for obvious reasons, Shane Van Gisbergen. And just want to thank all of them for tuning in. Hopefully tune in again. And yeah, I mean, just everybody that's been a part of this, and you guys obviously are a part of this. I mean, we were just a bunch of dumbasses yelling at the sky. I remember we got our first subscriber, and it was the day after Darlington. I was like, whoa, holy shit, someone listened to us. And now here we are. And I'm still kind of like, whoa, holy shit, people listen to us? That's fucking weird. I don't know why y'all do that, but thanks.
Special thanks to everyone who's come on the podcast.
Yeah, Peter Strada,
David,
Paul Foddy, David Land,
Darian,
just, the garage guys, of course, Caleb, everybody who, who's, like I said, anybody who's done anything, anybody who's come on Safari, anybody who's recognized, anybody who's come up and said, hey, at a racetrack, this is the reason why we do it. We do it for clout, and
that's it.
That's it. No, not at all. We do it. I've always told people, we suck, but we have fun, and that's really all that matters.
I think we suck less than we used to, and I think that's a good thing.
I also think we suck less than we used to. Yeah, big words. They still get me to this day. I learned the word supposedly.
It did. It took a calculated bullying effort, but we got him. But
anyway, yeah. Thank you, and go fuck yourself.
In the nicest way possible.
You want to start the show?
I do want to start the show.
All right, cool. Atlanta.
Well, let's start with the. I just want to briefly talk about, or I just want to briefly give Venturini Motorsports some shit.
Oh,
and by briefly, I just mean
Oh, you think really I wasn't going to talk about that?
I don't know. You said Atlanta. You didn't say Mid-Ohio, so.
Oh, no. I got, yeah. We'll talk about that. Don't you worry.
Okay.
All right. Fuck it. Go ahead. Go ahead and bitch about Atlanta.
I thought the race was kind of fun.
I fucking knew you were going to say this.
Are you fucking...
Right, so I knew I was like, I don't know what. Okay. All right. Let me share something with you guys. So Seth, if you haven't listened, hates super speedway racing with a package. We literally, the only reaon we went to Atlanta with a passion. I definitely didn't say, I think I said package, and I think I meant yeah. Seth hates super speedway racing with all of his package. And literally the only reason we went to Atlanta in 2021 because one, he thought Kyle Larson was going to win. So I guess there's a couple of reasons, but also it was the last race on the old asphalt. He loved it. And then we go to the super speedway package stuff. So like, this is the dumbest fucking thing on the planet. And he hates it. He hates Daytona and Talladega just as much. But since then, since we started the show, Seth has been to five super speedway races, and every single one of them, maybe not Daytona, Seth has said, I had fun with that. That was a fun race to attend.
Doesn't mean I like it anymore.
It doesn't mean you like it anymore, but I just want everybody to know that.
Not every single one. So look, the first Talladega we went to, the weekend was fun because we brought a bunch of people. The race was not that good.
All right. We don't need to go through it.
Okay.
We don't need to go through it.
Anyway.
I do remember specifically the first Atlanta race. You were like, I had fun with that race. That was a fun race to watch.
I did. I did not have fun with the last Atlanta race, though.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't fantastic.
It wasn't fantastic. It was terrible.
Yeah.
We
titled the podcast, This Race Sucked.
That's true.
Anyway, okay. You had fun with this one.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
I hated everything else.
Bamboozled. Okay.
I liked the race and I hated everything else.
What do you mean everything else?
The discourse, mostly the discourse. I hated the discourse.
What's the okay? Right.
Because here's my thing.
Hold on. You're talking to a dude who has like a 4th grade education. Spelled Moter Moter because I sounded it out. So what the fuck was discourse? Enlighten me.
The conversation surrounding the race.
Okay. I definitely knew that word.
Why did you hate everything about it?
Why?
Because this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. I did have fun with...
Let's break this down. All right, let's talk about the discourse first.
Okay. So, the
discourse... Is that where they got Discord? It's because it's a
discussion? Probably.
Dude, I'm fucking... That 4th grade education's getting put to work.
I'm glad it's finally getting some use.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, I don't know. It's just like...
Shout out to Miss Novak, my 4th grade teacher. I think that was her name. It might not have been her name. Wheaton, Illinois, baby.
Shout out. I don't really remember your name, but I'm going to try it.
Yeah. Ain't a chance in fucking hell she's listening to this. So yeah.
I would hope not.
You know who you are.
But anyway, I just don't like it. Like I can't, like I listened to, and I knew I was going to hate it, but like it made it worse today. I listened to DBC. I listened to the Teardown. I listened to, over the past 2 days, I listened to Dale Jr. Download today.
Yeah.
And I'm over it. Like we had to, and not that it's easy to drive the cars right now. It's definitely not. I'm not trying to say that, but we took the most driver talent track. And again, I understand it had to be repaved. I understand that. But we made it a fucking super speedway race, and only now do people appreciate anything about it. It's so exciting. Well, you know what was actually exciting? You know what was genuinely riveting entertainment? 2011 Advocare 500, where Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon had to drive the ever-loving fuck out of the race cars. That was riveting, exciting racing, not pack racing. And I'm sorry, if you think that pack racing is more exciting than that, then we're not compatible. And that's fine, I guess. But here's also my problem.
Just listen, ladies, if you think pack racing is better, you're not the girl for Seth.
Yeah, that really adds up. Here's my other problem is the track is wearing really well.
Yeah, have you been to Atlanta? It's hot.
Okay. You know what would be a year away from being the second best track on the circuit if we had repaved it straight? Atlanta Motor Speedway with the next gen car. Charlotte, fantastic. Kansas is pretty good. Atlanta would be a year away from being probably the second or third best intermediate track on the schedule, which I'm sorry, again, if you genuinely think Atlanta this year was better than Charlotte, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but you're not right.
We're comparing apples to oranges.
The point is that's better racing.
You're not. They are.
Okay.
I pretty much wholeheartedly agree with you. I'm kind of the opinion you got to kind of accept it for what it is. It doesn't suck that we lost what we lost. Yes, 100%. It would be it's kind of one of those. I was excited to see that the track is wearing because I knew it would produce a better super speedway race. But there is that piece of me that's like, damn, we kind of lost it. But here's the only thing though, is the reason it's a super speedway is because attendance was dwindling. Because yes, the racing purists loved Atlanta Motor Speedway. It loved what it took. The drivers loved what it took. But to most of the general, race fan, it was a boring race. It was very boring. It was long. It wasn't a good watch. It wasn't good. It just wasn't appealing. And Atlanta was honestly on a lifeline in a sense, because I mean, attendance was bad. The racing wasn't great. And it lost one day. They just regained it, but obviously that was for different reasons during COVID. So this was kind of their Hail Mary to make Atlanta better. Obviously, no one knew the next gen car was going to be what it was on mile and a halves necessarily. We hoped it was, but we didn't know. So this was their surefire way of making racing that would be, I guess, accepted or would be more exciting, for more people than it would have been, the old package. But obviously,
yeah, because it's lowest common denominator.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It sucks that we are at this point and that we had to make it a super speedway. We're in a perfectly good racetrack. But yes. And the discourse is definitely kind of there's an elephant in the room for sure. Like, okay, yeah, you guys are calling this the greatest race ever. Wasn't that? It was not the greatest race ever. It wasn't I don't even think it was the best race this year. It was a good race. It was a fun race. But it is we are definitely ignoring we're definitely trying to sell it hard. So yeah.
Well, okay.
So I understand your frustrations with that for sure. Cause I was like, all right, we're kind of laying it on thick here.
Yeah. I mean, I got I got done watching the race, and by done watching the race, I mean as soon as the last caution came out, I knew the race was over. Like in my head, I knew it was over.
Wish you'd told me.
I figured it was about to start pouring, and you'd figure it out pretty quick. And it never really poured, but anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. But I got done with it, and I was like, you know what? Like, especially like the first stage, I was like, man, I had fun with that. And second stage, I was like, still pretty good. And then the third stage, like what we got out of the third stage was good. And I was like, you know what? I'm still like, I'm not happy that this is a super speedway race, but I had fun with it. Like that's the thing. I can not enjoy a type of, or I can not love a type of racing, and I can still appreciate it to some extent. Like, I mean, the guys are still out there like driving the cars, and it's definitely tough in a big pack. Like, there's no doubt about it. The air disturbance is fucking ridiculous in there. Like so when I say shit about super speedway racing, I'm not saying that the drivers are not over there driving the cars. Like, I know that. I'm not dumb. I know the cars are not on, they're not just driving straight like you're driving a fucking video game. They're all over the place. I understand.
Yeah, but a lot of times they're not challenged like they are at other tracks, and it's not in control of their own destiny. And a lot of times they just ride around.
That's
the spring
also
race.
The spring race. That is another thing. It's like, I understand that the conditions were more applicable to a good race for this package and this type of track. But God, did we really just forget what happened in March? That race was terrible.
It was really
bad. And then we turn around, and with the threat of rain, which definitely played a role, 100%. And we're like, wow, this is the greatest thing. Dale Jr., this is the hottest ticket in NASCAR. I'm like, great. We ruined Bristol, and now all of a sudden Atlanta is the hottest ticket in NASCAR. Again, But yeah, I got done with it. I thought I had fun with it. And I just get on Twitter, and everybody, oh my God, everybody just shoving down my throat how great this race was. And I'm just like,
Hold on, I got a wild concept for you. Got wild
stay off
ground.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Well,
put your phone down. That's how you fix that.
I don't want to hear about it from you, my guy. You are constantly on Twitter.
I am constantly on Twitter, and I would show you, hey, this person's a fucking idiot, and then I scroll past it, and that's it.
Look, the problem is that this is what our series is now. It's you actually race the cars, and everybody just complains all the time because they expect stuff like this. This is what they expect, and that's part of my issue with it. Is the more of this we've added, and the more of that we've done. Especially coming off 550 for a few years, 550. This is what everybody expects now, and then when we don't get it,
that's not even. I don't think that's even true. I think
because this has become a bigger. What do you mean?
I still see a lot of people. I just don't see it. I don't see. There's definitely that group of people who are of the opinion that this is like the greatest thing ever, but like. I don't know. I feel like that's generalizing when it's not warranted. It feels like not necessarily cherry picking, but you're choosing what you see. Because I definitely saw a lot of people kind of going with the opinion of like, yeah, but look at what we lost. So
I've literally not seen a single one of those. So I need to be following your people and just unfollow everybody.
I tell people all the damn time, man. Everybody's like, Twitter's so negative. I'm like, dude, I mean, Twitter's fine. I mean, there's negative people, sure, but there's a lot of positive people. I don't know. Follow the right people.
Apparently, I don't.
I didn't mean you just deflate your whole thing, but that's just what I see.
I mean, the problem is that people like Dale Jr. are repeating these same things. Dale Jr. is getting on my nerves.
Oh, okay.
I love Dale Jr., but his takes recently have been cold, like really cold. And I think it's spilling into the fan base.
Okay, well, that's why we have a podcast, so you can give your take.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
Well, now. I don't care to talk about everybody else's take. Like, I mean, that's their take. They want to be wrong.
The whole part of what we do here is gauge the health of the series. And I think the health of the series from a fan perspective, is poor right now. I just think it is. Because we had so many races last year. Now, I mean, just take into account that this is part of what I was concerned about with the way last year was, with everything being so insane because of parts issues. I said, guess what? It's not going to last, and people are going to start to complain. Well, guess what? We got to race like 3 this year, and everyone was like, wow, that was boring. Like, yeah, go figure, because we set this wild expectation that everything is going to be insane every single week, and it's just not. That's not reality.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, people are also dumb. People who, like I said, I've said it on here many times before, said people in general are so forgetful, like so forgetful, like, and just so like wearing rose-colored glasses all the time. I mean, there's glaring issues that, you know, credit to you pointed out from day one with the next gen car, and just people don't see that, and you know, you just kind of. Here's how I look at it, and this is more than just an Atlanta argument. This is just in general. Here's how I look at it: you can't control what other people think. You can't control what other people do. You can't control what people say, what their thought, you know, anything. All you can do is say what your thought is and try to, you know, spread the good word from up. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I mean, all you can do is say what you think and, you know, put it out there and, you know, be willing to listen to others and take into account that. And as you know, hope they do the same and form a opinion that, you know, is true to you. And I mean, that's, as long as you do that, I mean, I don't really give a damn what anybody else says and what they think. I know what the sport does. I know what the sport's doing. I know, you know, where we're at. I know our strengths. I know our weaknesses. I know where we need to improve. I know where we're killing it. So, you know,
I fully understand the point you're trying to make, but we ended up with 3 years of the 550 package because people liked one race at Charlotte. And 100% happened. The amount of people that were calling for that package to be run at the 600 the next week was immense. It didn't happen, obviously, but we wound up getting a variation of that for 3 years. That definitely happened. NASCAR listens. People don't think they do because they hate what they wanted as soon as they get it. But historically, NASCAR listens to people.
I mean, that's very true. But like I said, like you can't, as much as it sucks, you can't control what people say. As much as you
well, I can't control anything, but I'm going to talk about it on the podcast.
I mean, yeah, it's fair, but it's just like you're gonna have your good. You're gonna have to take the good with the bad, and you know, go on. Like I said, I don't know. I'll talk. I say what I want and try to make my voice as heard as possible. Not because I want to toot my own horn, but you know, because I feel like I have a proper understanding of what a good racing product and a good racing series would be. And so you just, I don't know. That's my opinion on. That's more of my opinion on that, and this is your opinion on you know.
I mean, that's
people
fair.
In general.
I guess just the discourse around everything this whole year has just been getting to me. Like, if I hear we run too many road courses one more time, I'm probably gonna probably gonna drive head on into oncoming traffic. Like, I just dudes. I was sitting there thinking about it. Just that got me thinking the other day. I was like, man, if we go back to a mid 2000s or 2010s style schedule, I'm going to be very disappointed. I'm not going to stop watching because I'm addicted to it, but I am 100% going to be disappointed. Like, I
100%,
love
dude. I mean,
the variety we have right now.
It is insane. I was looking back at it. It is mind-boggling that we went that long with basically the same schedule. It just opens my eyes to like why we kind of hit a dip in viewership, because in viewership and just in general, because I mean, we had cars that weren't fantastic. We had the same guy winning pretty much every week. And we had the same tracks over and at the same time of the year and same like this and that. Like, it was just like, I can't believe. I mean, like I said, you look back, hindsight's 2020, and she's like, holy shit. Like, we really did that. And now we're here, and it's got to keep the ball rolling. I think the sport's in good hands as far as that goes. I think they realize that how monotonous things got. Getting into the actual race. Here's the thing about Atlanta versus like a Daytona or Talladega. What I liked about it was we didn't see the typical guys making dumb big blocks or, just pile driving through people, trying to push. It's kind of the same thing I said last week about the Chicago street course, in that they had to race the racetrack, and so you didn't see the chaos that you normally would see. And I think that's the same here, guys. It was hot, slick, the track's wearing out, and handling was a huge factor. And I think guys just had to race the racetrack more, and that's why you saw a more tolerable super speedway race. And I mean, really a great super speedway race. It was, I wouldn't call it quite, a lot of people call it vintage super speedway racing. I wouldn't call it that quite yet, but it's definitely trending in that direction. And I just do want to say that I definitely said that at some after Atlanta last year. So go ahead and write that one down when we get to that point, that I was right.
I mean, we were definitely talking about that, and then March happened. And I was like, I don't know, maybe not.
Well,
but
here's the thing about March is it was
a lot cooler.
Still, yeah, it was so like, dude, it was like literally, it was like Martinsville in 2020, in 2022 in the spring. Like it was the worst. Not the worst conditions. It could have been my race, I guess, but it was pretty much the worst conditions you could ask for. So, of course, it's not going to produce fantastic racing.
So I want to talk about, get to something positive, I guess. I want to talk about my favorite thing about New Atlanta, or at least New Atlanta in July, is the amount of things you can do without very much help.
Yes.
That was the most fun.
I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah.
Dude, yes.
So when Truex went to the outside and just started ripping and passing, that was the coolest fucking thing I'd seen in a super speedway. Like
that
ever.
Right there is vintage Daytona.
Yeah.
If I've ever seen it. I mean, that was also my favorite part of the race was the fact that you were kind of more independent than you were. And it was a throwback to back when the guys like Dale Earnhardt and Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon were so good at super speedway racing, is because you could be independent. You were more in control of your own destiny. And I felt like that was 100% the case here. Maybe not 100%. You still needed a lot of help to break the plane of the back bumper of the leader, but it's trending in that direction, which is really good to see. Yeah, I mean, Martin Truex ripping top was great, and I mean, you could see guys rim the bottom if they really needed to.
Well, one of the other really cool things about it is it being at Atlanta and it being a lot, a mile shorter than Daytona Talladega. Dale, you weren't watching the TV broadcast, buddy, but Dale Jr. brought it up like 56 times. And the cool thing is how tight the cars get on the bottom. Like they get wicked tight, or at least they just push up. And
you get that wicked tight, and then you get that loose off.
Yeah.
Which Alex Bowman
works, which kind of works. Like as long as you can hang on to it, as long as you can hang on to it, you get a pretty good run off on the bottom. It's not quite the run you get on the top, but it's not so little that you can't make a move.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, top is definitely dominant at the moment. I think it'll kind of probably stay like that, but I think the groove will move up, and the bottom is probably not going to come in, but I think you're going to see two distinct grooves, middle and top.
Yeah. You're never going to be able to fully make up the difference of being able to just open it up the way you can on the top, on the bottom. No matter how much it wears out, you're never going to be able to really make up that difference.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was great. Let's talk about this. We both went to last year's race and the year before in the summer. You didn't go to this one. I was at this Atlanta race. The move tonight, thank God. Oh my gosh, dude. It was so damn hot during the day. I mean, we didn't get there till about 3. And it obviously that's like the hottest part of the day. But that was a scorcher.
That's another thing. That's another thing people all of a sudden hated as soon as they got what they asked for. We've been asking,
my God, dude.
We've been asking for a night race at Atlanta for the longest time, and then we finally get it. And all I saw online was, "I gotta go work tomorrow." Like,
dude, I don't want to. I am so damn sick of this Sunday night, this bullshit argument about how why are we racing on Sunday night? Well, motherfucker, what's the most popular sport in America?
Yeah,
football. What do they do? What's their biggest game? I don't know. Sunday night football. Like, good Lord, dude. Are y'all preoccupied? Like, damn.
Sunday night football starts later than we started.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's annoying. And also, like, Chase Elliott is the one who asked for this. So, if you want to be mad at someone, be mad at him.
But don't be, because that's the best take Chase Elliott has ever had.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean,
that is kind of my favorite thing about Chase Elliott. He can win a race and come out and be like, we really shouldn't be doing this during the day.
Yeah. I mean, that was, I remember as upset as I was that he won that race last year. He said that, and I was like, I ended old Chuck. That was good.
Well, and it's fantastic for TV ratings.
Oh, it's great for TV ratings.
Yeah. I mean, they pulled $2.5 million on USA.
Let's talk about this too. I would say we had a spike in viewership probably from the Garage 56 thing. Not a huge spike, but I feel like we got some outside interest that we might not have had before. We had some okay races, but obviously we had a big spike for Chicago. It was the most watched race in the past 6 years. It was, everything and the moon.
Non-Daytona. Non-Daytona race.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's good because they saw a fantastic race there. Then we go next. It's the IndyCar effect, but we did it right and IndyCar doesn't. IndyCar, you go to the Indy 500, you see a fantastic race sometimes. Unless it's blazing hot, then that's really not their fault. And then the next week, you go and see a respectable race, not anything special, and you don't ever see Indy again. Last week, we saw a fantastic race at Chicago. And they come back the next week, and it's a totally different track, and you see another fantastic, exciting race. And then you're going to go to another racetrack that's totally different, see another great race. But eventually, you're going to come back to, what you originally liked. So I don't know. I feel like it's just we're building some positive momentum, and we haven't. Surprisingly, we went to a street course for the first time, and then went to a super speedway the next week, and we haven't made ourselves look like complete fucking idiots either race.
It's pretty incredible.
Is shocking. Yeah,
I can't wait for something really dumb to happen this week.
Mother Nature, you can go fuck yourself.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think that's the good thing with the way the schedule is laid out after Chicago too, because we did something completely different this week, and then compared to this week, it's going to be completely different again. And then what's the week after that? I don't remember. Shit, we just talked about this.
Wait, what? What did you say? New Hampshire, then Pocono, then
Pocono,
Richmond.
totally different. And then we go to a short track. So if you just tuned in for the first time to NASCAR for Chicago and then kept watching, you'd see 5 completely different racetracks.
They're all going to be great.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really glad that, I don't know if that was foresight or they anticipated on a lot of people watching Chicago. I assume.
I'm starting to think this was all planned. I'm really starting to think this was all planned because it seemed, I'll give them credit for it, even if it's not. But yeah, I mean, the Sunday night deal, to kind of close that out. I understand. Yeah, you want Saturday night, but man, it's not a very sound argument. Last week, definitely, yeah, start the race sooner. And we've been bitching on this podcast forever about we need to take care of the race fan that's at the racetrack. And this was a move that was kind of the best of both worlds. You got better ratings because you're on Sunday night, but you also didn't just shit on the fan and you put it at night so everyone's not passing out a heat stroke in the middle of the race. So yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised with that. Atlanta's just a cool track too in general.
I think that's part of my circle back to the attendance issues that Atlanta had. I do think that was part of it though. They had
shitty dates. They've always had
terrible
shitty dates.
And it's it's kind of the same thing with the Bristol Spring Race. It's nobody wants to go watch that when you're going to get rained out, half the time. So I feel like the attendance issues were a little overblown. I meant to bring that up a while ago and just forgot about it anyway.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I made that point earlier. That's definitely something I didn't think about. But yeah, getting into the actual race, or I guess before the race, that was cool. Richard Childress driving the 29 car.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then Kevin obviously pulling up next to him. Everybody was so shocked. They were like, "Oh, Kevin pulled up next to him." I was like, if he didn't, I was going to be a little bit disappointed.
What did you think?
But that was one of the, I don't know, man. I obviously biased, but that's one of the coolest retirement tour things that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, it's a
shocker. I was in tears.
I, for one, am completely shocked by this revelation.
I'm sure you are.
Yeah. I've never heard of Buddy Pulley crying, but anyway, it's one of those things that we usually don't get an opportunity to have happen.
Yeah.
I guess the only one recently that could have happened would have been Tony Stewart. If Gibbs wanted to run something, that could have happened in theory, but Junior, it wasn't really possible, and Jeff Gordon ran the same car for his whole career.
Just me, yeah. Maybe not this specific thing, but just in general, I think it was a nice trip. Obviously, I think it helps because the magnitude of that Atlanta race in 2001 was way more than Kevin Harvick. That race, as much as it to Kevin Harvick fans, it is about Kevin Harvick winning his first race. To 90% of the other people, that race had nothing to do with Kevin Harvick. It could have been anybody driving that car, and that car goes to victory lane. It's going to be basically the same hoopla. But it was Kevin Harvick, and he ended up, obviously has had a fantastic career. And the fact that all these years later, it's a different team, but it was, obviously one of the most iconic moments in NASCAR history. And just to be able to kind of bookend that in a fitting way from all parties is something you don't get the opportunity for. And they definitely seized it for sure. And if you guys want to go see that actual car, just go to the RCR Museum.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm really glad that RC's been able to put behind him some of the issues he and Kevin had to have a moment like this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, moment like this, and then also the Wilkesboro car. Obviously, yeah. I'm wearing the Wilkesboro shirt right here. But yeah, I mean, that is it's how it should be.
I almost wish they'd have brought it out for Wilkesboro as well, because seeing it right beside the 29 car that Kevin was driving would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. Wish Kevin would have had a little bit better run there. I mean,
it was a great run for a Hunt Brothers Pizza run.
No, I mean, a great run for a Hunt Brothers Pizza run would have been him almost winning and then not. Yeah. Let's start. Let's get this out of the way. What do you think about them not throwing a caution? So I got a pretty strong opinion. I want to hear yours before I go off on a rant and sound dumb.
So, in the context of the point in the race we were at with where the rain was, him being off to the side, away from everybody else, not putting out any debris, I think it was the right call.
Okay, cool. You didn't change my opinion at all.
Okay. That's fine.
Here's why. Doesn't matter the circumstances of a race. Give it credit to DBC. They're right in this opinion. Doesn't matter what circumstances, your lap 1, your lap 200, whatever. Rain's coming, rain's happening, lightning's happening, the sky's falling, or it's clear blue sky. Caution is a caution. And that might not have been a caution, but it should have been, because lap 60 of the race or whatever, man, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that late. Lap 3 or whatever, Harrison Burton, y'all see that shit he did at Phoenix? He spins out pretty much right there on the back stretch. We were setting Kevin Harvick up to get ass packed, basically, if they wreck off turn 2. And that's kind of fucked. I was kind of upset with that because he was, and that goes for not just Kevin Harvick, but that was the glaring example. It goes for anyone that's riding around on the apron. And most people got a caution because they threw debris out on the track. But he didn't, and it just didn't sit well with me. I also think the pit road is dumb as shit. I think that still needs to be tweaked. I don't think that needs a speed limit at all. I think on the apron, at least, I think you just got to stay on the apron, but that's an argument for another day. It didn't sit right with me. I thought it was kind of we did a lot to avoid the Daytona situation, but it was a little bit, in a way, a similar Daytona situation in the fact that we were more worried about the race and the entertainment part of it and just all the things. And we kind of put safety aside for a minute for that. And I don't really care for that too much. So
here's part of my thing is it's twofold for me. Because if you want to go straight up, just use straight up consistency and what have we done in the past? What is normally a caution or whatever? Yes, it should have been a caution because we've called it a caution in the past. The other thing for me, though, is that I've never thought that should be a caution because it's at the back. Yes, he's going slow off of turn 2, but if a guy is coming down the pit lane on the apron, he's also going significantly slower in the pack.
That's kind of, that was kind of what I mean by the pit lane thing.
I mean, and to be fair, I thought the pit lane thing was stupid in the spring when it was 45 through there, and that was really dumb.
Yeah.
So I think ultimately, I think we need to stop throwing yellows for stuff like that. Because by the time you throw the yellow for it, it's already happened. And there's no real danger into it anymore.
I don't know, man. A slow car on the track when we literally just saw, granted, it can happen anywhere, 100%. We just saw Harrison Burton spin in pretty much that exact same spot on the backstretch. And I kind of look back at you remember the Derek Cope in the duel a couple years ago? He was going like 12 miles an hour and the whole pack blew by him. And I kind of look back at that too. I mean, obviously that was different, but in a sense it was the same. It's kind of one of those things like we don't think about it until it happens. And once it happens, it's going to probably be bad. And then we're going to be like, why were we so dumb? So I don't know. That was kind of it. Because here's I also kind of look at it like this: is it wasn't like Kevin was choosing to go that slow. Like he obviously car was wounded. So if something does happen, he doesn't have the ability to make an evasive maneuver to avoid that. So I don't know. That was kind of where I stood on that.
Yep. I think there's several fair arguments for that.
Yeah.
To be honest. So
but yeah, I mean the racing though, like throughout the entire race was, like we said, I thought it was fantastic. Like, I mean, you saw like compared to the spring, like this field was more spread out, which I thought was good. Because I mean, you're able to generate runs better, I feel like, if it's more spread out. You saw more 3-wide racing, and it just in general, it was, handling is gonna be key. I mean, you saw in qualifying guys like losing it in qualifying.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? When's the last time we saw that? Never thought it'd see it on super speedway either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was, I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was so disappointed when the rain came. But yeah.
Are we ready to talk about the rain then?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to let you go first since you were there.
Yeah. So in the moment, and if you follow me on Twitter, I was livid. I was the old man yelling at the sky. I was so fucking pissed off when this happened. And I feel like they made the right call, because I was at Daytona last year when the thing happened. Everybody goes in turn one and the whole field wrecks, and Kevin Harvick definitely was the leader. So for me to look at that and think, no, we shouldn't have thrown a caution would be asinine. I think ultimately they made the right call. It was where I was at, it wasn't, but also I was sitting kind of higher up. I could definitely see raindrops falling. They definitely had heat in the racetrack. The track wasn't wet. It wasn't raining hard enough. But yeah, I mean, I understand the circumstances and why they did what they did. And once it did start raining, it didn't stop. It definitely lightened up, but it never stopped. So, I mean, there wasn't really much of an opportunity. And I know there's a lot of people yelling about why are we under caution, whatnot. I mean, I understood it from at the track perspective, because a lot of people, unless you were sitting where the rain really was, you couldn't really tell it was raining that bad. And so we were sitting there screaming at the car, like, why are we not going? Why are we not going? On TV, though, there's a lot of people bitching about that. They were talking about the whole time. They showed in-car cameras of it raining.
They showed it immediately on TV.
I don't understand that argument at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, I think they made the right call. So much it pains me to say. I think they made it. I was definitely biased 100%.
Yeah.
And I'll get into that in a minute after you go to your thing.
That's why I didn't engage on Twitter with you. I engaged with plenty of other people on Twitter, but I was like,
if you want my heat of the moment bad take, go on Twitter during a race. You will see some outlandish things, and then you'll come on the podcast and be like, this hypocritical asshole. Like,
I was just like, you know what, buddy probably doesn't see it. He'll figure it out. He'll figure it out here by the time we get to the podcast. But I do know that Dale Tanhart tweeted basically the same thing that you did, give or take. That
was who I was talking about.
Yeah. And all I did was respond with, he's like, why are we not going green right now? And I responded with 2022 Coke 0400 lap 137 turn 1.
Damn,
so
Mans was down to the lap.
I looked it up. Okay. I wanted to make sure I had it right.
Yeah.
There was 23 laps to go. It was lap 137.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, as soon as any amount of rain, and to be fair, since that incident, NASCAR has been very consistent on this. When any drop of rain,
that? Let's talk about that. They've been consistent. They learned from an incident, finally. And they have been consistent about it. Like, so let's give them some credit there.
The week afterward, the Southern 500, we're like 5 laps in. We got like 3 raindrops, and they threw the caution.
Immediately. Yeah.
Immediately threw the caution. We didn't we were like, what the fuck? And we're like, I can't complain.
Nope. Can't complain. Yeah.
Can't complain. So
if you were there, you'd know at Daytona.
Yeah, exactly. So they've been incredibly.
And Dale was there.
Was he? No, he was on the playback stream.
For Daytona?
Oh, for Daytona. No, he wasn't at Daytona either. He was only at the
oh, no, race. He had to go to like a wedding or something. Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay.
But anyway, the point isn't real. Like, I understand being mad about it in the moment or whatever. Like, I get it. But yeah, NASCAR has been very consistent about this since that moment. If there's any amount of rain, we throw the caution. We do not run cars at speed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as soon as that caution came out, which was Bowman and Hamlin, I think. I can't remember.
No, it was Priest and Bubba.
Priest and Bubba. As soon as that caution came out, and basically they went to commercial, and my Twitter lit up with Jeff Gluck and Bob Pocker saying it's raining in turn 1. And I knew we're pretty much done at that point. Now, the other argument. So, yes, they made the right call. The other argument is we didn't wait around long enough. Well, the cell was very big. And it was already, 10 o'clock?
I don't remember. I can look it up.
I think it was about 10 o'clock.
Keep talking, I'll look it up.
Okay. So it was about 10 o'clock, and we're looking at minimum an hour, probably around an hour and a half. Well, it looked at that time more like 2.5.
Right about 10 o'clock.
Right about 10 o'clock. So we're looking at around 2 hours until it stops raining at this point.
Yeah.
And then that's another minimum 45 minutes till we get it dried. You're not restarting the race on Monday morning at 1 a.m. Like, you're just not doing that.
You're not.
So I understand that it felt quick, but you got to look at it. You can't leave. And another thing is, too, especially when I've seen a lot of, what about the people that are there in the stands that took the trip down? Well, I don't think it's fair to them to sit around and wait and make them decide, damn, do I have to leave a race early because I got shit to do tomorrow? Or are you just going to make the call and let them get going on their way?
Yeah.
I think that's way more fair to them than sitting there waiting around. I was complaining about it at Daytona last year, but at least at Daytona, it was 2 in the afternoon. It wasn't 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big difference. Yeah. I think the fairest thing to do for them was to call the race and let them go home.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the radar and do some quick math and realize, it's a bummer and like a buzzkill way to do it, but it's ultimately the right way to go about it. It just, especially the race that it sucked because it was fun to watch. It was so fun to watch. But I mean, that's part of that is part of a problem we have in NASCAR is we have too much. We oversaturate things. Maybe it's good that we were left with a little bit of blue balls.
Yeah, that's another thing. The amount of discourse, again, back to the discourse.
Yeah.
The amount of discourse about absolutely not. There's no reason you could ever think about shortening a race. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that race at right under 300 miles was way better than the race that went to the 400-mile distance. And obviously there are other factors to it, but that played a role. That did play a role.
I wanted to bring that up too. Obviously DBC, they said they made a big fuss about, we need to make races shorter. And we've said that on the show too before. And
not every race, obviously.
No, not every race, but definitely super speedway races aside from the Daytona 500, there's no real reason why they should be as long as they are, because a lot of it is you see the same race every time. We probably wreck early, then we wait around, and then we wreck it at the end. Like, I mean, and the race ends under caution, or it's Daytona and it gets rained out. Like, I mean, yeah, those are your options. That's what you're gonna see. So I'm all for, you know.
We did make it a whole calendar year at Atlanta without doing that, though. So that's nice.
We did. Yeah. So I'd be fine with like a 300 miler. Talladega, both their races are too damn fucking long. And Daytona July could be 300 miles, whatever.
It could be on the
as far as like other races, that's a whole nother argument for another day. But yeah, I mean, but here's my thing about that is you got to make it more bang for your buck for the fan at the track, because yes, the midway is cool and everything, but like I said, we didn't get to the track till 3:00. There's some people that get there at 11 o'clock in the morning for 7 o'clock. Now, granted, yeah, you can argue don't get there that early, but it's like you want to go out there, you want to tailgate, have fun, but eventually, like, man, there's got to be more bang for your buck. Like, if you're gonna make it a 300-mile race and it's gonna be that you gotta make the weekend worth it. And so I think that's something before we go and start shortening a bunch of races. I think we gotta add some of that in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's
like Chicago, for instance. Like, they had a lot of stuff planned, and it was a short race, and it became even shorter. First time 2 races have been shortened back to back since 2003, 20 years. Yeah. It's kind of annoying that I was at both of them. But I mean, Chicago was going to do it right had we not had weather. We have, stuff planned, and we didn't even think about the length of the race. So yeah.
I think there's no excuse for not having a race with practice solely for the fans. Like,
yeah. TV fans, yeah. I don't
really care about TV. Like, most people aren't really that worried about tuning in practice on TV, but
I mean, there's plenty of people that tune in practice on TV, and fuck it, why not? I mean,
they do, but like, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'm more worried about the people who go there. Like, that's not a big part of the TV contract.
Well, here's the thing. I think on Sat one, I think we should never have a triple header weekend where one's Friday, one's Saturday, and one's Sunday. I think that's the dumbest thing ever. I think 100% we should have Saturday is full of racing. Sunday, if you're going to start a damn race at 3:00, give me a damn concert. Give me something to entertain me before that. Like, something, man. Like, hell, stand-up comedy's huge right now in the world. Give us a fucking comedian to stand out there on the front stretch on a stage and tell jokes, or in the midway and tell jokes. It'd be great. It'd be awesome. And then, oh, shit, that killed an hour. Shit, the race is a couple hours ago. Grab her shit. Let's go in the track. I mean,
I honestly like when we do qualifying on Sunday before the race. I've liked that in the past.
That's fine too. Like, yeah. I mean, it just, you got to, if you're going to shorten races, you got to add, it's just, I keep harping on, you got to add to the fan experience at the racetrack. Yep. You have to. The whole weekend package, you have to do it. If you're going to have these short weekends, you got to make it a bigger bang for your buck.
No, agreed.
Yeah. So William Byron wins the race. That was disappointing for me. We all know how I feel about William Byron. I can't stand the kid, for many reasons. Some of them good, some of them not. He wears his socks on the wrong foot. Like, he,
I thought they wore them inside out,
wrong foot. He puts pineapple on his pizza and then says, "I know this is taboo." Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. He does, I've made up a bunch of reasons why William Byron. I just don't want to like William Byron. I have a good argument here in a minute, but I don't really know where I'm going with this. But that was disappointing that he won. He's the lucky son of a bitch.
No, yeah, definitely.
He is the lucky. I mean, Vegas, he ain't gonna win Vegas unless Eric Almirola does Eric Almirola things and causes that caution. Harrison Burton, you see that shit he did at Phoenix? Well, it cost Kevin Harvick a win, gave William Byron one. And at Darlington, it took Ross Chastain making the world implode for him to win that. And then he gets lucky on rain. So
I'm having a hard time quantifying William Byron right now because all 4 of his wins are
over damn hype, man. Over damn hype. But all 4 of his wins this year are stupid. And you look at some of his other wins. He won Daytona. That count.
You're an Alex Bowman fan.
Hey, look, man. Well, that's part of my problem. And I'm obviously taking the piss a lot of these takes. I don't like William Byron. I like the fact that I don't like William Byron, and I really have no good basis for it. Sometimes it's fun for me. But that's part of the reason that irks me about it is yes, I do love Alex Bowman, but William Byron's not that much different than Alex Bowman. He's got one more win than Alex Bowman just now. They have basically the same stats otherwise. And he lucks into just as many wins as Alex Bowman does.
Here's the part I'm having trouble quantifying is that he's the points leader right now.
He is the points
leader.
With
a 60-point penalty.
Dude, all right. I'm so sick of hearing about with the 60-point penalty. They fudged with the car, they fucked it up, they fucked with it multiple times, and he got the penalty. I'm sick of that.
I'm not saying he shouldn't have got a penalty. I'm just saying despite all that, despite his 4 wins being bullshit, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to call it how it is. They're stupid bullshit wins. Kyle should have 2 of them. I had to have a moment. I had to have
Harvick should have one.
Yes, he should.
Yeah.
He should have Phoenix. Anyway.
Glad I got to put that in there.
Okay. And then I don't really care who should have won this race. Yeah, despite all that, he feels like Chase Elliott last year to me. Where, like, other than that 5-week stretch in the summer where Chase was absolutely dominant, he just felt like he was just kind of stage pointing the field to death. And that's kind of what Byron feels like right now.
Well, and that's kind of how he's always been. He's been fast. He's been super fast, but they haven't been able to close out races. And now granted, you got to give it to him. They aren't, as they're not leading as many laps as they were in the past, but that could be by design. I mean, it could be, hey, let's maybe not, we don't have to lead all the damn laps. Clearly that wasn't working. Something always happened, or we, stepped on our own dick. Well, just put ourselves in position to when something happens, we're there to pounce, and don't be the person that something's happening to. And I think if I'm going to give Alex Bowman credit for that, I have to give William Byron credit for that. And I think that there's something to be said about that.
I think it's so, like, he was leading a lot of laps early in the season. So Hendrick has been slower in the summer. And I don't think that's controversial to say. It is, but it's not usually all of them though. Like, especially in a year, like, and it's also, usually when that happens, it's more of we think they're trying things, but it's different this year. The 48 and the 9, they need to pick up the pace.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird, especially as fast as they started the season.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all of them. I mean, Elliott was really good at Auto Club. Byron and Larson both were up, could have won. Kyle could have won like 6 races early in the season. Alex was the points leader for a time. So I don't know. I don't know.
It's the ebb and flow of the series thing. Guys pick it. You come out of the box strong, and guys figure it out. That's kind of how it goes.
They kind of look like Penske does most years this year. And Penske looks like, terrible. I don't, other than this week and a couple others, but
yeah, I don't know. Not saying you're saying to worry about it, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, I
mean, I wouldn't put much stock into it.
I'm not worried about it.
Here's the only thing. Here's my argument with William Byron. Could be a terrible take. I could go back on it next week, but this is what I think right now in this moment. William Byron is not great for the sport. And here's why. He's not bad for the sport, but there's a lot of people hyping it up and saying he's this, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. And it's not, he's a lot like Jimmy Johnson in a sense that he doesn't show his personality. I'm of the opinion William Byron doesn't really have a personality. Jimmy Johnson, we all knew he didn't show it. He's possibly one of the most boring motherfuckers on the planet. And if he does start dominating like Jimmy did in 2006 to 10, look at where the sport ended up from that, by having the same guy win every week for Hendrick Motorsports, who just really was kind of vanilla. And,
I think you're jumping the gun here. He's still at best the third best Hendrick driver.
Well, no, I'm just saying like there's a lot of people putting a lot of hype around him. And so this is my response to that. Like, I mean, he's not Kyle. Like he's good. He's good. He's winning races. He's putting himself in position to win races. But there's a lot of people saying a lot of things about him, wanting to jump on the bandwagon. But it's like I said, it reminds me a lot of Jimmy Johnson. If this were to be the thing, and it's not like he's Kyle Larson and he has lights out talent that you can't help to love or hate. And it's wasn't like Jimmy's talent. Jimmy's talent wasn't flashy, and and William's kind of the same way, and that's a compliment to William. But we need polarizing guys in the sport. We need polarizing guys to, dominating the sport. And, you can't, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm faulting the dude just because he has a, mundane personality. Like I don't think it's his fault, and I don't want to know exactly what I'm trying to say here, but I just, I don't know. I don't want to put too much stock behind him, I guess, because
I get what you're saying, but I think your concern is very overblown.
I don't think. Well, we've got
plenty of polarizing guys in Cup right now.
We got, we do, but I'm just saying, if he lives up to the hype everyone puts around him, this is going to be the outcome. That's that. I'll put it plain and simple as that. That's what I feel. Like, I mean, he seems like a nice kid. I don't care for him. I don't care for his sponsors. I don't care for the Liberty. We all know Liberty. We all know Exalta. Like, they're not great companies that he is represented by. Granted, you can't fault him for taking money, but also, it's not. When a guy's just mundane, really doesn't have much going for him, and then you wrecked Denny Hamlin under caution last year for no apparent reason at all, for the very same thing that you bitched and moaned about at Darlington last year. Like, I mean, the needle's going to go the other way, and this is just kind of a thought that popped in my head. It's
all right. Like two things. If we stop taking immoral sponsors in racing would end.
I know, but it's low hanging fruit that I'm picking.
It is, but like, I mean, if you dig in at all, then basically
I know that. We all know that.
The guy Kevin Harvick drives for was in prison for tax fraud.
Yeah, you're damn right. And Rick Hendrick whacked a guy.
That's true.
Like, I mean, look, man, people change. I don't know. No, I mean,
Joe Gibbs coached a team named after a slur.
I saw an interesting TikTok about that. I'll talk to you about that later. I don't know. Well, anyway, what I'm trying to say is I don't like William Byron. I got many of dumb reasons to not like William Byron, but I think this is something, before you hype up the kid, just Just think about that. Think about, don't forget our past. We'll put it like that. Jimmy's a great guy. And William could be, if he lived up to all the hype in the world that we're giving, then, one day down the road, we'll appreciate it. But in the moment, it's going to suck.
Okay, that's fair. I'm about to piss you off. I was kind of glad he won.
Why?
Because I didn't want a new winner to win unless it could be Daniel Suarez. And so
why didn't you want a new winner to win? I'm just curious.
I'm sick of it.
Oh, you're back on that dumb fucking I hate parody in the sport.
It's not parody. It's just stupid.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I mean, I hate that he won because I don't really like him, but also I
didn't take the time and money to go out there, so I didn't really care.
yeah. Your opinion doesn't matter. No, I wanted Daniel Suarez to win, obviously, for obvious reasons. One, it would be cool shit to Trackhouse win 3 in a row, and 2, I love Daniel Suarez, and William Byron's probably my least favorite person in NASCAR. That's not true.
I was about to say, how?
least favorite Cup driver. We'll put it like that.
More than Ross?
Yeah, because I don't think people are going to really question why I'm booing the hell out of Ross at the end of a race.
Or Chuck, I guess.
Yeah, if it came down to William Byron and Chuck, come on, Chuck. Let's get it done, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah.
At this point, not this year, because I'm liking the
I'm making this whole William Byron thing my whole personality.
I will smack you.
I'm leaning in it. I'm leaning into it, man.
If we're any further in the season and we're where we're at, I'm not going to say what I'm trying to say, but I think you get it. And you start pulling for Chuck, I'm going to be like, my guy.
Only reason I wouldn't want Chuck to win is because I kind of just don't want him to win. I want him to miss. All right, I'll say it. What again? I don't want him to make the playoffs.
I just danced around that, and you're like, oh, I get it.
You gotta be more obvious with it. You gotta be more obvious with it, man. I didn't understand what you're saying. I don't think. Look, man, you're way too superstitious. I'm
just a little stitious. Okay, come on.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Let's talk about. All right, let's get off this William Byron tangent I've been on for however long. Let's talk about these playoffs. The playoff bubble is it's pretty tight right now.
Yeah,
it's a hell of a fight for the last 2. McDowell, Suarez are tied 15th and 16th, 3 points above Bubba Wallace, and then kind of a steady trickle down to Alex Bowman in 21st, and then Chase Elliott. It's another drop off to Chase Elliott in 22nd. I ain't got a clue. People are trying to handicap this. I ain't got the clue, dude. It changes every damn week.
Well, that and everyone keeps talking about it like we're not going to get any new winners, and I think that's just asinine. If I'm being completely honest.
That's the thing. I think ultimately, Chase Elliott's probably going to win. Yes. And I think we're probably going to get a new winner. But I also think 1 or maybe 2 of those 7, 8 guys we got right there all jumping together, I think they'll win too. So I don't
you think we're going to get 4 new winners in the next 7 races?
Okay, that's what I was about to say. I think we'll get 2 at least. I think we'll at least get 2, and I think it'll come out of that crop of guys from 15th to 22nd.
Yeah.
I think maybe 3 if something crazy happens. We're not getting 4. We're not getting 4 from that group or below the cut line. I could see Kevin Harvick winning or Brad Keselowski winning, but yeah, I could see 4 new winners, just not only 2 below. From that crop.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I don't know. 'Cause, it's so hard to handicap right now. Obviously, the next 5 races, the last 2 or 3 have been hell since the Mexican came out. It's been batshit insane. You can't handicap shit.
I do think the likelihood of a new winner out of the next 3 races is low. Just because, like, so I think Gibbs is going to dominate.
I think Michigan's probably the biggest. Well, the biggest one.
Michigan, and then we got the 2 road courses. I honestly don't know.
Next 3, Richmond is before Michigan.
Yeah. So out of the next 3, I feel like those will all be repeat winners. That's just the feeling I'm getting. And then I don't feel like we're going to get a new winner at Indy. And then I feel like Watkins Glen's probably Chase Elliott's best opportunity. Like, I mean, he could have won there the last 2 years. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Watkins Glen seems to be the only road course where Chase Elliott is still clearly the best guy.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting how that works. I don't really understand it, but
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. These playoffs, man, they're I mean, we'll follow it.
We're far from settled on it.
It is, yeah, it is. It's definitely more wide open than they have been in a long time. Normally you have the 3-4 guys, maybe 2 or 3 that are fighting for that last spot or so. But I mean, it's a dogfight, dude. I mean, a lot of people are writing off Alex Bowman. I'm like, the motherfucker was just in last week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, the points can swing so much. I mean,
and 30 points these days is not that much.
No, it's not
at all. No, like you can win 2 stages and get 40 or 20. Sorry, 20. You can win 2 stages and get 20.
Yeah, I mean, Alex is about 40 points back. I mean, that's you. There's still a third of the points on the table every race.
Yeah,
if you're at 40 points. So I mean, you got a lot to go. Other than that, this Xfinity race. Let's talk about that real quick, and then we'll get to the accolades. I just want to talk about one thing. You already know what it is. Justin Haley's full of shit. 100% full of shit. Never seen a car run out of gas and then pass someone. Luke Racing has to win. No, Justin Haley had to win. That was what that was. I was just so pissed off about that. Like, I mean, the dude literally comes on the radio, Chandler Smith, or tells them to tell Chandler, hey, make sure he knows Colleague has to win this race. And then you literally, like the Kyle Busch thing on Alex Bowman at the Clash that one year. If you push me, we have a chance to go catch the son of a bitch. But if you try to pass me, you eliminate your shot to win. That is exactly what happened. The moment Justin Haley pulled out, I was like, that's it. John Hunter won the race because you're not generating a run at all. But if you push Daniel Hemrick past John Hunter, that's what John Hunter's car sucked. He's a sitting duck, and it's between you and Daniel Hemrick. I don't know, dude. Like, Justin, you're one a Cup driver too. You've won 1 million of these races. I don't know how that came to be. Obviously, I'm biased towards that, but still, it's just dumb.
Like, well, yeah, that and like, I do not like. So we've seen Colleague perfect this move. Essentially, I don't know what
several times.
We've seen them perfect this move several fucking times, and Daniel Hemrick was back there playing Dale Earnhardt for you guys for about 100 laps. Yeah, and then needs a win. And then as soon as he's in front, that all goes out the window. Yep. That is just bullshit. And you're not even an Xfinity driver. Dude, your only goal at that point, I understand you want a trophy, but your only goal at that point should be, I'm going to make sure this 11 car wins this fucking race.
Yeah.
Like, I do not understand it. I do not understand.
It is the mentality of Colleague that's the past, however, forever. Is make sure a Colleague car wins the race.
And it's been a great strategy.
It has been a great strategy. I mean, hell, they wrecked each other a couple of years ago coming off turn 4, and one of them still won the damn race. I mean, it was just dumb. That's all that was. Just dumb. His excuse afterwards was piss poor. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. There's data. There's definitely data out there that we'll never see that, it ultimately doesn't matter. It's just an Xfinity race. But it's data out there that shows he wasn't running out of gas. Like, I mean, dude, you don't run out of gas, pull out past someone, and then also make it around the whole rest of the lap. Just fine. So just, I don't know. Man. Just one of them things, man. It's just dumb. Just dumb. Dumbass of the week worthy on most weeks. But then we have this Venturino Motorsports dickhead. Dude, Sean Higatori, I think is his name. Or Higarati. I don't know how
I think that's it.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I don't think we're gonna be saying his name much ever again.
Hopefully not.
I think we both agree he's the dumbass of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote down Haley just so we could have some.
Yeah,
have to. I mean,
it is. 100%. Yeah, this kid. I mean, wrecked. I think he wrecked someone trying to get a caution, and then he just wrecks his own teammate for nothing to do. I mean, what? I don't even remember what it was for. Like, I didn't watch the damn ARCA race, and I still didn't catch what the hell he was doing it for.
Well, him and Dean Dean kind of ran him off the track when they were running for second. But if you just race a little smarter, and yeah, Dean shouldn't have run him off the track, but you race a little smarter, you just back off the throttle. There's still like 8 laps to go at Mid-Ohio. Like, that's plenty of time. You can back off and get another run at him. You had tons of time.
Yeah, did you not watch Chicago? Shane Van Gisbergen showed you. He wrote the book on it. He showed you how to do it.
So there's that. That's dumb. Like, again, like we said last week, NASCAR drivers tend to hang on far too long on the outside of a road course. Just back off, get you another run. It'll come way quicker if you do that. I can kind of accept that a 16-year-old wouldn't know every correct thing to do running for position at a race. But yeah, to blow your fucking head all the way off your shoulders and come out and go wreck your teammate.
Your whole race away too.
Yeah, and go wreck your teammate who's in second on the last lap of a race. That, oof. Dude, get out of the car and hit him. Like, that is way more dignified than going out and wrecking him on the last lap.
Yeah. I mean, and he couldn't even hit him back either. So, I mean, dude, it's fair game, man. Go clock it, some bitch.
I would have been like,
that was ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It's just unacceptable. I mean, you just can't do that. I hope I never see his name again. We're not going to hear it next week or whenever the fuck the next ARCA race is because he got suspended. So that's cool.
That's good on ARCA.
Yeah.
NASCAR would let it go.
Yeah. Also, let's go back to Justin Haley thing. Remember last week I said Shane Van Gisbergen was playing chess, not checkers, when he made that move on Justin Haley? Justin Haley clearly didn't learn a damn thing from that. I mean, because, that was an IQ move by Shane Van Gisbergen. Just the patience and the composure and knowing, hey, you're going to have another shot at it instead of just, fucking premature ejaculating and, end up, screwing yourself over. So, yeah. Other than that, anything else?
Not really.
Okay. Eric Jones was a piss missile on Sunday night.
Who all did he hit?
He hit Corey LaJoy. He hit Kyle Larson. Well, obviously he was involved in a lot of things. And he was
wouldn't blame.
He was number one guy. He was number one guy, ripping top, making it 3 wide. Like anytime you looked up, it's like, oh, there goes the sun.
Well, look, if you were driving a legacy car all year and you finally had a package or something that you could work with, you would do it too.
Yeah. Somewhere out there, Holly Sheldon was punching drywall. But other than that, Busch is leaving. God, this has been a long episode. Busch is leaving SHR to go to Ross Chastain. We all knew it was happening. Sorry, I know we're getting out of order. We gotta get the sundress and shit. But fuck it, it's Eric Jones. I don't care.
Who did I put? Oh, I got my shit backwards. Anyway, I don't have a sundress, apparently. I wrote down 3 dumbasses and wrote 2 of them at sundress because I'm a moron. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Anyway, huge blow to SHR. I think that's all I really needed to say about that. Coors Light's a hell of a beer. I'll tell you what.
So are we finally going to stop this whole you pretending Busch Light is like the greatest thing ever?
I've never pretended it's the greatest thing ever. I like Busch Light a lot.
You will prefer it over Busch Regular, which I don't understand at all.
I like it. I still like it. I like it more than Coors Light, but Coors Light's a respectable beer, and I'll be drinking a lot of it from now on. No.
Okay. We better
big blow to SHR. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. They're losing their star driver and they're losing their damn star sponsor.
They need to be like, hey, Smithfield, here's a better driver. Go sponsor the 4 car and then close up shop at the 10. Yeah, I know they said financially it doesn't make any sense, but quite frankly,
just hire Harrison Burton, man.
Yeah, I guess. Competitively makes a lot of sense.
He's got his daddy's money in Dex Imaging. I'm just kidding. I know it's not.
Jeff Burton doesn't own that?
No, it doesn't. So I know, shocking news. Yeah, Jeff Burton doesn't own Dex Imaging. Yeah. But yeah, so
I always thought Jeff Burton had Dale Jr. money, but I guess that's not true.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. Yep. That's picks.
I won the picks this week.
I am aware. I was sitting there, and I was like, hey, Justin Haley finished 10th. I was like, oh fuck yeah, and Ash was like, yeah, Seth picked Suarez. I was like, son of a bitch.
I was sitting there at the end. I was like, oh my God, Daniel Suarez might actually win this fucking race. And I was like, I know. I was sitting there waiting on him to get wrecked. And then the caution came out, and I was like, this race is over. I'll take it.
Dude, he was so close to breaking the plane of the 24th bumper going into one a couple times.
Yeah.
And if I had realized that the implications of that, then yeah. Anyway.
So what's the score now?
It is 29-26. Like it is dead. We're in a dead heat for this.
What do I have?
You have 29.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I've won the past 2 weeks. I didn't understand I could possibly be behind you. Okay.
Yeah. No. New Hampshire.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah. Christopher Bell.
Okay.
Hell of a pick, dude. I was so hyped when I saw him still on my list.
So I was not sure exactly what to do. I knew I'd already used Truex and Bell, so I just went with Ryan Preece. I feel like if I'm gonna use him at some point, then
that's probably
probably the best one. I was thinking Almirola, and I was like, no, he already won here. It's not the Eric Almirola way to win again so soon within 2 years of his last win. So Ryan Preece, I'm gonna roll with it. Hope Bell has a wheel fall off or something. That'd be the only way I can get the win here.
Yeah, Christopher Bell, I think only time he's finished outside the top 3 in a New Hampshire race is in Truck Xfinity World Cup is when he drove the 95 car for Levine.
Yeah, he's pretty good here.
He's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Kyle
Larson's the favorite betting again.
Yeah, place your bets for Bell.
But to be fair, so I listened to the Garage Guys podcast, and they did mention that Kyle Larson has won I think most of the races we've run with this package this year. So I guess there's that. I don't know.
It's rain.
It's gonna definitely rain, and I'm not gonna get to watch the race. That's what's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, I just meant more or less we're gonna.
Oh yeah, we can run rain tires, or we can run damp tires. That's true.
Damp tire. Yeah, that's what I'm.
True. Yep. That will be interesting.
Other than that, thank you again, everybody, for listening from episode 1 all the way to here. Episode 1 hundo. That's it. That's all I got.
He's been Buddy, aka dumb dress, and I've been Seth, aka Sun Ass.
Wow. Okay. All right. I think that was maybe one of our most unproud moments I've ever been on the show. Unproud. I could. Yeah. I'm done here. You might see me next week. I don't know.
But he did make it past his, Thanos moment of Chicago. So
I did. It's real shocking. I had tickets to Atlanta, so I kind of figured I had.
Okay. I'll add the effect to have you just peacing out at the end of this. So give me a peace sign, buddy. All right, we'll take it.
Go fuck yourself.